Hi all, welcome to the YouTube channel of Evolution Careers. I'm Harshita, the host for this session. Today we have Ms. Sonia Mondalchin, the founder of Sari Bari, the speaker for today. Sonia is a MBA graduate from ISB and M Kolkata, and she started her career with PR firm Ad Factors in Mumbai. She brings about 12 years of corporate experience. She is a wit traveler and a sari revivalist. She is currently based out of Hyderabad. Today, the session would be all about Are you for startup and business? So, we'll hear from Sonia now. Thank you.
So much for the wonderful introduction. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well, safe, and healthy. So, I would like to thank Evolution Career and especially Harshita for this wonderful opportunity to talk about my startup journey. So, just to give a bit of a brief about myself, I was born and raised in still city of Jamshedpur, which is a very small town, also known as Tata Nagar. It's completely taken care by Tata Steel Company. I completed my MBA from Calcutta almost 12 years ago and then started my professional career in PR firm in Ad Factors Mumbai, where I was handling ICICI Pru life insurance all over India. Then later I moved to Hyderabad to head the purchase department of an upcoming consumer durable company. So basically here, what I learned more about the, nuisance of business, the nitty-gritty of how the business should be run. It exposed me to a travel extensively to many Southeast Asia countries. It was comfortable but yet challenging too because we used to travel to few places where there is no usage of English language. So basically, it is always Cantonese language that we used to face. People can't speak English over there. Nothing is written in English over there, so it was quite challenging. But one benefit of the travel was that I was exposed to international fashion a lot. So how these countries, they give a lot of opportunities to their own brand, their own creativity, artisans, and everyone. So being born into a traditional Bengali family, sari is just not an attire, but it is a quite essential part of our tradition and heritage. So the love for the sari has been passed on from one generation to another. Both me and my sister are completely sari lovers. So though the most preferable way to shop for sari in our small town is basically to visit the physical showrooms, and then to touch and feel it and then do the shopping because at that point of time there was no online and of course nothing was there as such. uh, but that's how we are now trying to convert the visiting physical shop to the online business. So there was always some gap in finding those exclusive hand woven handmade saris from deep interiors of our country, which generally do not reach masses. There is also a social element. Most of the hand weavers are gradually losing their livelihood to meal-based sari producers, comparatively to what you see when you visit the interior part of Andhra or West Bengal. There are completely hand-woven saris that they produce. But right now, it's all taken over by these Surat-based producers, like sari producers, meal-based sari producers, who are like, doing it like on a day, they are producing some 100, 200 saris in a day. So that's quite a challenging for these weavers. There is where the whole idea of my startup saribari.com came to light, which is a social commercial MSME startup focused, not just to sell most exquisitely handcrafted saris from remote nook and corners of our country, but also to improve lives of these weavers who have kept this art of ancient sari weaving alive to this very day. So we wanted to prevent this its extinctions here. Like 2 years ago, I quit my full-time corporate job and started focusing on my startup. So the first and the foremost thing you need to do before commencing your journey of entrepreneurship is how enthusiastic are you about your idea. Forget about funding or making money for a bit, as I believe. It's always an outcome. It's always a necessity also. I won't say that completely forget it, but there should be one end goal. What you are trying to achieve with your startup, what you're trying to solve. If you look at my example, our passion for saris, with an aim to keep our art of sari weaving alive by offering livelihood to these small weavers who are like finding it tough to compete with these mill owners. Offer the rarest collection to our customers was something we wanted to achieve. The next step after you have decided what you want to achieve through your startup, then you must create a startup plan. This includes your market research, target audience, location, logistic, which is most important in the startup because the service is what a customer looks for always. Always the customer looks for what kind of service you are giving. Because the product will reach you, but what about the exchange? What about the return policy and everything? So our is with whom and how to set up supply chain. When we are dealing with remote artisans, the legal government, the registration, because these people don't even have the proper electricity also to, to complete their job. They are completely doing it during the daytime because evening time there is no power, no electricity, so they can't work. So there is a lot of GST issues, trademarks, and everything. So you have to plan it out, like how you are going to deal with all these government authorities as well as helping out these poor. Now, not only I'm talking about my startup, I mean, it depends on your startup to startup. Few people will start up with something else, which is very easy to deal with them. So now each of the subcategory need to be planned individually. We had a very limited funds. To be very honest, we had a very limited funds to start our journey. We started our journey with hardly 10,000 only. Yeah, that's a very small amount, but yeah, we started with the 10,000 only. It's a very low budget for a sari business at this time of competition when you have so many competition right now on online. But for market research, we could not rely on expensive means. So we floated our surveys through Monkey Surveys and extensively hello, hello,
Yeah, hello.
hello.
Yes,
Yeah, am I audible?
yes, you're audible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we did a kind of a research among our WhatsApp network, our family, friends, and we completed our surveys, and that is what the kind of feedback we got. Like you should start with something on a very small scale with the pricing is always a factor in India market. So to give us a fair idea about the market dynamics and the kind of sarees our ladies in India and outside India want. However, we are unable to source from their local boutiques or sari stores because they were quite expensive. So we have to knew what and how we will sell online. Furthermore, based on the published report by the government agency recently, the retail value for the sari market are approximately going to grow around like for 5 to 6% by 2024. So the next step for our was to identify who will be our suppliers. How can we reach our weavers? How to reach these hand weaving weavers. For this, we researched a lot. We travel extensively to remote location in West Bengal, Telangana, Gujarat, and so many other places. And other weavers through commercial, links up. So they have some kind of like, okay, if in Gujarat, I'm looking for somewhere in Bandhani, so they are giving me some connection. Okay, you can go to the Ajrak people and all you. So there's a kind of a connectivity we formed, and we started doing even we are tied up with many communities also who help the weavers directly. So they are not even a middleman, they are just a community. So they don't charge you anything, nothing. They directly connect you with the weavers. So like we have a weavers from the Champa, which is in Chhattisgarh. So we got the first batch of our sari by Mary investing around 10,000. We paid upfront to a few handful weavers. So our first sale was merely we sold around like only 10 saris in a month. But that was quite an happiness because we helped somehow those weavers, those small weavers, we helped them. So it was quite a kind of a inner happiness, inner peace that we got. We didn't have that time additional funds to create a website. So we opened up an Instagram and a Facebook page and started sharing more about our brand and product. Very soon, we started receiving some traction at that stage when we set up our logistic partner on like per shipment basis. Even they supported our ideas and vision. Even they do a lot of help to us, like picking up the goods from our weavers who are remotely staying because they have to travel to the nearby town and do the shipping. So that's how we our logistic partner is also helping us a lot. So because of our customers also mostly prefer COD, so COD turn out to be a relationship and a trust building tool with our customer. That is most important. I believe in that initially when you're starting up a business, you should have this COD, cash on delivery system in your logistic, because that is how the customer built up the trust. And because they face a lot of challenges in this online business. People cheat them, they pay the money and then they block them and everything. So that is another challenges people face in while shopping online. So COD is going to turn out to be your relationship and trust building with the customer. So like we don't ask any question to our customers. So the moment they receive the product, we tell them if you don't like it, kindly just the day you receive it, please mail us that you didn't like the product and would like to, and within a 24 hours, our logistic partner pick up the goods from there. So after they pick it up, after we receive it, and then we refund it, because sometimes even the customers are also not trustworthy. So you have to play the game very safely. It should not be like they just picked it up, because ultimately the delivery boy don't know what you have sold and what the customer is returning. So today we receive 90% of our orders from the Instagram and WhatsApp, and 80% of our regular buyer. So they like at a time order 2 to 3 pieces and everything. So there are certain advantages and disadvantages on the online business comparatively to same with the physical store also. So to summarize a couple of things, you must remember for a startup, willing to fail and learn from it. Please don't lose your patience. If you're really, passionate about your passion, please, it will take a few years to break even, but please don't give up hope. Product firms should focus on the quality, and service firms, of course, on the service, because that's only how you build up the trust for the lifetime. Even if you close it after 3 years or 4 years, people should remember you, because the next, then whatever you start, people will only come back to you with the trust you have built up. And pricing, do not follow what market is doing. So it's a startup. So put up a less profit. Don't bargain with your your supplier or somebody, because then again the quality gets somewhere, the quality gets down, I believe in. So don't bargain with them. If it's a small people who are just surviving on you or on your business, please help them out, because that is what their bread bread and butter for them. So don't bargain with them. That is what I suggest. And then you can create a wonderful product, because then they work for you. Then they work completely wholeheartedly for you, because they believe in that, okay, this person will not bargain, so I can do it for them. Whatever, when you ask for the 1 piece or your 10 piece or anything on the product base I'm talking about. And COVID-19, of course, had a minimal impact on the e-commerce. Of course, we had a little bit of logistic issues initial stage of COVID-19, but somehow the e-commerce is the future. Online marketing, there are, I would ask you to guys go through, there are a lot of, Google is doing a lot of online marketing material. They are supplying on YouTube, how you can promote your products online, attend the training courses from the Google digital marketing. This courses really helps you at least to learn a basic thing about the digital marketing. You can't be an expert on a day. It makes you, it will be, until unless you don't practice it, you won't learn it. So, and always take your customer feedback and work out on the shortcomings. Funding startups, as you grow, you may seek funding from your angel investor, which is not easy. There is a lot of assumptions and figures and everything you have to present them. So before going to your angel investors, try to have a good start. need a little bit of big fund, but try to have funds from your friends or family members who can help you out, and then go for your seed funders. Lastly, take inspiration from others, but create your niche, create yourself. Okay, guys, so I'll pause here now and we'll be happy to take our questions.